Some organizations don't achieve their goals and objectives not because they did not employ competent staff, but because of rivalry, because of quarreling and fighting, and because the staff they employed do not have the character that they need to achieve those goals and objectives. Yes, in today's video, I'm going to share how I missed an important deadline as a producer. I missed an important deadline because of some bitterness and rivalry in the office environment. Tired of getting bad advice from well meaning people? Want to get to the root of that pressing challenge? Then join Efil Modia, a behavior specialist and certified mentor, on the Behavior Hub YouTube channel as she talks about real life issues. On that day, we had a deadline at 9 a.m. There was something we had to show the CEO. There was something we had to show the CEO. One of the programs we finished, or we're supposed to finish, so that by 9 a.m. we're supposed to show our CEO. So as I came early, and the two editors, they came early. These two women in focus, they were very, very hardworking, very, very talented. They were very, very hardworking, talented, but there was always this rivalry they were always fighting, they were always quarreling, they were always bickering. It was sort of a competition thing. I don't know exactly why they were always fighting. I don't know there was a root behind it, I believe, but I wasn't really concerned about that. All I wanted to do was to get there, do my job, and but that day I didn't know that their foolish behavior would cost me. Yes, it cost us that day. So we got there, we started working on something, and suddenly I noticed that there was a mistake. Somebody made a mistake. So I asked who made that mistake. That was it. That it just opened a can of worms. Before you could say anything, they started fighting and quarreling. They started accusing one another. It was you, it was each other, it was you, it was not you, it was you. They went back and forth. And I looked at it, they did this for a while, and I noticed that the deadline time was approaching. It was getting closer and closer to the deadline. And I believed that, okay, so I now told them it doesn't really matter who is at fault, who did what, who did not do what. Let us concentrate on finishing this project. That is what is the most important thing. The objective at the end of the day. Let's be, sometimes you can be in an organization, you are bothered about what this person said, what this person did not say, and it makes you less competent because you are not focusing on what you are supposed to focus on. When you have a job, when you are working in an organization, just look at the big picture. Look at your assignments. Make sure you try to meet your deadlines. Normally, what I do, in fact, not what I do normally, if my deadline, then when I was working for organizations, if my deadline was like on Tuesday or Wednesday, I would make sure by Monday the material is prepared. I always give myself a deadline that I know, or if they ask me what day would you want to submit this, I will tell them in 2 days' time. But I'll work on it before that 2 days, yes. So that first of all, it makes you always ready. It makes you always ready. You are not put under pressure. You are not doing something at the last minute. Sometimes we talk about our leaders. We say they do things at the last minute. It's as if they did not plan. It also happens in organizations. You have to be sure that you are not put under pressure when you are making decisions. You have to be sure that you have enough time to think about whatever project you are given, to be creative, because if you are rushing, your creativity level will be lower and you will not give your best. So these two people, as I was saying, they were arguing, they were doing all they were doing. You would notice that what I noticed from that argument was that they already had malice towards each other. So it wasn't because of the project. They were used to fighting, and they had beef for one another, for each other basically. So, but I wasn't interested in that. We had a deadline for 9 a.m. So I was like, let's do this thing. Let's get together, do this thing before the CEO comes, because the CEO had not come by then. And by 9 a.m., we're supposed to present the project to him. But do you know what? They just ignored me. It was as if I wasn't even there. The bitterness and the rivalry was so in their system. They were so angry and mad at one another, at each other, that it did not even matter to them. They did not even think of the bigger implication, what it meant if they would not submit. So they kept on arguing and they kept on fighting. And you know what happened, my dear people? We never submitted our project on time. By the time it was the time, we had not submitted it. And they kept on. It was like, I at a point, I didn't know what to do. I was perplexed. I was speechless, because we had, the funniest part of it, that three of us, we had what it took to complete the project. And there was a mistake, but whatever project you do, even if it's a personal project, even if it's a project in the office space, we all make mistakes. So I don't believe in dwelling on mistakes, because even in presenting this particular blog, this particular video, there are several mistakes I may have made along the line, but I look at the overall objective, and you ignore those things because those mistakes are distractions. You don't face distractions, you face the main thing. Because if you are doing something, there will always be people that want you to look at the mistakes you make. Yes, you learn from your mistakes, you try to do better, but at the same time, you don't allow yourself to be distracted by mistakes. You do what you have to do, and you bring the final product. Or the heart of the project is what matters. Is the heart of the project. If the people see the heart of the project, what you are trying to pass across, those minor mistakes, they would ignore it. So, and we missed the deadline and we did not submit that project. It was so, 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 so annoying. And at the end of the day, they left the office they left that job. These two people I'm talking about, especially one of them, they left that job in a very bad way, because though they were skilled, though they were competent, they could not manage their character. They could not manage their character. So character is very important. And they made the environment very toxic. They made the environment really very toxic. And they are not people I would like to work with in future. I'm telling you. So sometimes your character could determine how far you go in that organization or for the future. So wherever you are working, please try not to be involved in this fighting and bitterness. Face what you are supposed to do. Then you will always have someone that doesn't like you. You will always have someone that is not acknowledging you or making you feel that you are not good enough in an office. But please don't be distracted. Try as much as possible to ignore those little things and face what you need to do. If you have to work with such people, work with them. There are people I work with that even till today. There are people I do projects with. We are not the same in any. They are different from me. They don't believe in what I believe in. But because there's a project we are supposed to do together, I put aside those little differences and I focus on what we are supposed to do. And at the end of the day, we achieve what we need to achieve. This is very important, because if you cannot deal with some rivalry where you are working, what about when you have bigger and future bigger projects? How would you be able to deal with it? So character is very important. Yes, wherever you're working, character is very important. Don't ignore it and say, oh, I can act anyhow. Learn to develop some fruits that are beautiful. Patience, forgiveness, kindness, those things matter, I'm telling you. Now, have you ever worked in a toxic environment? Someone made you not work the way you were supposed to work. Someone was really annoying you, someone was reporting you to your boss, or someone just generally made you uncomfortable. Have you been in that kind of situation? Please share it in comments, and also share it. Also tell us how you dealt with the situation. In this